Welcome to another episode of ChatNAPT with the AI chatterbots, Chuck and Howie. Today's episode guaranteed to be another great episode of conversation where the listener will be fully entertained with a lot of banter between Howard and I. And guess what? You have a front row seat. With that being said, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Howard. How are you today?
Hello, Mr. Ellis. How are you this fine day?
Where I'm at in Little Rock, Arkansas, it is a beautiful day. We had rain this morning, and I'm looking
Good
for a
night.
great weekend and probably go do a little bit of fishing this weekend.
Nice. It has been raining. This morning it was rainy. It was a little bit rainy on the way back to the house. Still overcast. Hopefully the weekend will be better.
Well, can you believe it? This is going to be our wrap-up podcast for season one.
The end of the season.
Where does time fly?
This is our autumn.
It seems so odd, but we're going to take the summer off. So next week we will be at the NCSLA conference.
I can't wait. Cleveland.
Yeah,
Cleveland rocks.
and we'll talk about that. And we got kind of a little bit of history with Cleveland and the history of the podcast, and we'll kind of tie those two together in a minute. But here we are, the end of season one. Who would have thought? We've gone through 11 guests, 14 episodes. You and I have had our banter 3 times now.
Correct.
It's gone by so quickly.
Yeah. And pretty good audience attendance.
Yeah, and the numbers are up. We're seeing every time that we get a new release of an episode, we are seeing the numbers get higher and higher. So, it takes a while, I guess, is what the marketing people, geniuses, tell me that we're not going to see the numbers that I'd like to see from a marketing perspective until we get down to season 2, season 3, before the entire metrology community is aware that you and I are out there and we're talking to each other and we're calling each other bad names.
Yeah, there's a lag there for sure. From the time you start pushing these out to the time the general public start recognizing it and seeing it and being aware that it's out there.
Yeah, they're the people with the suits on, that and the ties, all that kind of stuff. They say that you and I need to be more natural, like we were in episode 6 or 7, whatever it was.
Huh?
They like the fact that you and I just kind of let our hair down, as they like to say. We got to learn to do that a little bit more because we got some stories, Howard. Yeah, I could admit, and at some point in time, does the audience that we have in this podcast want to hear the metrology stories? Or do they want to hear the stories of us on airplanes? Like when I met Dionne Warwick, or when I sat next to, Snoop Dogg. Those are a couple of good stories that we probably could share at some point in time.
Yeah, I've got some celebrity stories as well.
No, it's so we've been traveling. I mean, both of us. My God, I've got 2 million miles. You've got over 1 million miles. Think about that. Less than 0.1% of flyers even get 1 million miles.
Oh, is that the statistic?
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's good to think about 1 million miles.
That's a lot.
I mean, there's some people obviously that go to Asia every week, but those are the people that get 5 million miles.
And keep in mind, my over 1 million is since 2017.
Wow.
8 years.
Wow.
With a little dribble of it prior to that, because I didn't fly solely Delta at that point. I was flying just about every airline. So I had a few Delta points before that, but not many. So the majority of that was in 8 years.
Yeah. Mine goes all the way back to Republic Airlines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Republic, was, I don't know if you got your airline history, but Republic was bought out by Northwest Airlines. And then, of course, Northwest Airlines was acquired by Delta. And actually, short story long is that when Delta bought Northwest, I lost about 300,000 miles because some of the miles they said didn't transfer over. And I think those were my Republic Airline miles, because when I went to school at Arizona State, then my miles that I flew back and forth when I was in college didn't fly. And I think some airline miles when I was in the service didn't count as well because...
Oh, yeah. I had a mistake there. 2017, no, that's the year I moved here to Kansas City. 2015, so 10-year period.
10-year period, so...
Yeah.
Well, as I've said before, if I never get on aircraft again, it'll be too soon.
In all of my flying for the last 25 years, Delta has still always done the best. They're not perfect, right? They have mistakes that happen and things, they get delays occasionally, but they are more on time than most others. American's been pretty good for me. United has been the worst for me. My experience with United over the years has been horrible, and they have cancellations and delays. And I've seen people get irate with the gate agents, when their flight gets canceled, and that doesn't help anything. It just escalates emotions, right? And then, of course, the agents are trying to take care of it as best they can. Sometimes they lose their temper. It gets heated. So try to
I
avoid
had
those situations.
I had to fly over to the Mayo Clinic last month,
Yeah.
and coming back, I got the French toast, and it was the blueberry, whatever you call it. It really wasn't French toast. It was more like a souffle.
Mm,
And I'm
sounds
telling
good.
you, oh my, it was the best. It was perfect. I'm
And
not
this is
kidding.
airline food.
This was airline food.
That's pretty good.
It really was. I mean, to Delta's credit, I'm saying it was really good.
Yeah.
And I remember, back, I'm going back probably 10, 15 years now, but I remember when I had, lobster ravioli on Delta,
Mhm.
and that was fabulous. I mean, it was perfect back. I mean, that was a long, long time ago, but
Oh, yeah.
that was really good. And real briefly, I'm going to tell you about one time that Delta really proved they were good. I was on an audit, and I had to come back from Atlanta to go back to SNA, and it was the last flight out, and we were late coming in. And, at the time I was a Diamond member, and I was flying from up in New Jersey down into Atlanta, then Atlanta to SNA, which is John Wayne, which, I lived in California
Oh,
for
yeah.
a good,
That was my favorite airport out there.
I lived in, California for 7 years. Anyways, long story short, so I'm flying into SNA, and we're late into Atlanta, and they have what they call a hot ticket.
Hmm.
And so what they did at Atlanta is they met me at the gate, and I mean, it was 15 minutes past the time the aircraft was supposed to leave.
Oh,
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, shit, I'm stuck in Atlanta overnight. I'm not
right.
gonna, I'm
Which
I'm
I've
done.
done before.
Yeah, you hate that because there's no other flights. Otherwise, I could fly into LAX, and but you don't want that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and then you're at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're taking a taxi because they didn't have Uber at the time.
Or sleeping on a hard plastic chair. I've done that.
Oh, I know. I no,
Ugh,
I'm going to hotel.
horrible.
So, anyways, they meet you with a sign. The sign, of course, says your name on the sign, and you go out the back of the gate, down the steps and into a Lexus on the tarmac. They take you around the airport,
Yep.
bring you up the aircraft, put you on an aircraft. They held the effing aircraft for me.
Now, your experience there is the opposite of my experience in Hawaii, where Delta did not hold the flight from us coming from one island to the other to Honolulu. And we got into the airport off of the plane with 5 minutes to spare, and they would not open the door on the plane, and they let it go. And the entire portion of us that were going to LAX had to wait for the next flight that evening.
How
I
many of
was
you?
so upset with them.
You said how many people was that?
About 20, 25.
25 people. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
board.
they wouldn't hold it. They wouldn't
No
hold it.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know why that happened. I'm assuming that was a one-off situation where somebody did something they shouldn't have done at Delta. They should have held the plane,
Yeah.
right? But for whatever reason, they didn't. So
No, I
that's a great
agree.
experience for you. It was a bad experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, I got up there. They took my bag. I mean, they wouldn't put me. I got in the aircraft. They took my carry-on
Yeah,
bag, put it up above for me, and said, "Please be seated, Mr. Ellis. We need to, push back, blah blah blah."
exactly.
And then they went and got my luggage too.
Mhm.
Got my luggage out from underneath. I didn't have to wait for my luggage, but it was the best service I've ever had
That is
on an
great.
airline.
So
Yeah.
I've had
So,
that service with the Lexus or the Porsche, right? I've had that in Minneapolis quite a few times
oh,
where
okay.
the flights were really tight. I
Yeah,
come off the plane, they got a guy standing there at the end of the jetway, right? They're just, hey, let's go. Go down. We go out where they take the luggage up down the
right. Yeah,
metal steps and hop into the Porsche, and they take me right to my next gate, walk me right up to it. Great service. Love
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah. They call that the hot ticket, which I'm not sure they do that anymore or not. But obviously,
It was probably 8 or 9 months ago when I had that service.
oh, so they
Yeah.
still have it.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. All right, so that's what they call story time.
Yes.
So Mitch, when you listen to this, that was for you. That's our
Yeah.
good friend Mitch.
So I
He'll
just
get
want
the
to make
inside.
a statement that NAPT does not formally endorse Delta. This is just our personal preferences and experiences.
Even though we have Delta cards, we have
Yes.
all the employees have Delta Reserve cards. We all fly Delta, but we don't endorse it. You think
Nice.
they would give us something for as much as we get from them, right?
Oh,
You
my
think?
million miles, I got $1,000. I was pretty
Yeah,
happy with that.
yeah. Well,
I used that
that's
on
not
our
it.
trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's not enough. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to what we're here for. Let's talk about our guests. We had a great number of guests for the season. You know,
Yeah,
if
we
you
had,
haven't seen them,
I'm sorry?
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna name some of the ones. Mitch Jones, Paul Reese, Kirk Foster, Peter Unger, Dillip here recently, Troy Thomas from ESCO, Chris Krashnan, Jen Houston, thinking of the board members. I think
Pete Unger,
Ryan Egbert as well.
Ryan Edberg. Yep,
Yeah. And of course, Ted Green.
yep. Great
So
episode with Ted. Really enjoyed that.
that was fun. And Jeremy Sims.
And Jeremy. Yep. So yeah, we had a
Good
just a
first
really
season.
a great. I mean, we tried to get most of the board members, and we got a couple technical people.
Yeah.
We got most of the board members. You know, we had a couple board members that just we couldn't fit them in with time restraints and things like that. So that
Yeah, the majority of them
unfortunately,
were board members intentionally. We wanted to have the first season to introduce NAPT board members. So NAPT season, I'll just label as board season, right?
introduction. Yeah, introduction. There
Yeah.
we go.
Season 2, I would like to have a mix up, and I know that either season 2 or season 3, I'd like to do what we call a C-suite, right? Any of the companies that have a CEO, CFO, COO, whoever, right? Who would be interested to be on the show, send us the information. We'd love to have
Right. Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good point because we have a huge list, but and so you and I are going to fight over who we're going to invite.
you.
But we should tell our listeners that when we first developed the people that we know that we thought we would invite to be as a guest on the host. I mean, what did we have enough for like 6, 7 seasons?
6 or 7 seasons, yeah, yeah,
You know, it was
easily.
crazy.
And that's no repeats, right? And there's some people we'd like to have back, so we could go 10 seasons, I'm sure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And no more musicians. You know, I mean, because I feel out of place because I can't even listen to music because I can't even hear
You're
the.
playing the radio.
Well, I love listening to music, but
Yeah.
I can't pick up. I don't know an F chord from a G chord.
I'm telling you, on one of these seasons, we'll have to have it where we've got a few of these musicians together jamming, and that'll be just a little clip that we'll put in the show.
Well,
That'll be fun.
we can probably set up where you guys record on Teams, and we can play that. Maybe like a 5 minute song. We can record that separately and then just kind of cut it in.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Something like that. That'll be the thing. So okay, well so we're looking forward to season 2. That's going to happen here. We'll start recording after the summer again. So we're going to take a month and a half, 2 months off, and then get back to start recording again. So I know you're going to want to go back and listen to all the podcasts that we have. They're available on the NAPT website or wherever you get your podcasts from. They're all available on all the Apple,
Yeah, I was looking
iPod.
at that yesterday. I tend to watch this instead of when I do watch a little bit of it to see how it went, because it feels a little different when we're going through it than just observing it separately, right? So I don't watch usually the whole episode, but I just take a quick look at a few different segments of it to see how it went. And when I was doing that here recently, I did that through YouTube. And then because it was associated with NAPT, then I could subscribe to NAPT on YouTube. And then from that, I could just go look at all the episodes and any of the clips that you posted in the marketing. So everything's right there as well.
Yeah. And we have our own homepage. And then we also got if you do subscribe, you can see the other clips we have as well. You know, like we have for the risk webinar that we did, the
Yes.
statistics webinar, the seamless webinar, all the other webinars that NAPT has done for introduction to all the NAPT tools. So, you know,
Good
speaking of
wealth
that,
video information.
yeah, so speaking of that, you know, NAPTs had while we're recording this, the actual people that do the work at NAPT, look at my God, what they've done in the last 9 months, 10 months. You know, they've got this new PT plan that they have, which is a free tool, which is
Mhm.
an unbelievable set of tools for people that want to conduct proficiency testing and they have to do a PT plan. It's a free tool.
Mhm.
They've got the new risk analysis, which is unbelievable. I mean, they just hit a home run with that particular tool. So
Yeah.
another free tool that NAPT offers to the test and metrology community. It's unbelievable. They got a corrective action module, and boy, I'll tell you that customer portal that NAPT has for its members and a lot of tools for the metrology community is just unbelievable.
So I just want to make a point about that risk assessment tool. The beautiful thing I think about that is that it gives you the essentially a checklist of things you should be looking at and monitoring on a regular basis in your Cal program, your quality management system, and things to keep an eye on, right, as they change and evolve. Like personnel, you're going to have some turnover. You're going to have people wanting to cross train into different metrology disciplines. You get new standards in, or replacements, or new capabilities. All those things are on that checklist that helps you score where am I with risk on this. And that's something that's not meant to be a one-time static measurement. That's for you to evaluate. That's why it's a free tool. So you get in there and reevaluate yourself every so often, maybe every 6 months, once a year, so that you know where your risk is and how it's
Well,
evolved.
that's the beauty of this particular tool is you can go in there on a Monday, do your analysis, find out on a Tuesday that you got a new technician, go
Mhm.
and make the change and change your risk.
Yes.
And so that is it's a really living, breathing tool that
And
defines
it
your risk.
tracks it for you so you
It,
can look
it,
at the history of it, which I
that's
love.
correct. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
it's unbelievable. Like I said, they hit a home run.
Yeah.
And Howard, to your credit, you were involved with the design of that and with, a couple other people with the NAPT, and we've had some other people that provided some guidance with that with our programmers. But the programmers took what we gave them and just hit a home run with
They did a
that.
nice job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with that.
And then I
Now,
just see it getting better as well.
we've had a little bit of feedback about the scoring kind of being backwards from what other surveys do. Yeah, we realized that we actually generally followed typical, very general surveys that you get anywhere to say on a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being bad, 1 being good, that type of thing. So, and maybe it's backwards for some of the metrology based surveys, but once you realize that, it's not difficult to use.
No, it's just, you know what? If we would have did it the other way, some people would have said it's backwards either way.
6 of one, half dozen the other. Right.
Yeah. So it's just a way that how you want to use your numbering system. So,
Exactly.
hey, I want to do a sidetrack here for a minute. You're on LinkedIn.
I am.
My God, I've had, I'll bet you, 8 conversations in the last 2 weeks regarding how terrible that they're doing and regarding pushing this garbage in our feeds. Have you noticed your feed is full of garbage on LinkedIn?
I gotta tell you, I probably subconsciously avoid that because what I've been doing in the last 6 months or so is I'll take a look at LinkedIn and whatever pops up first is the one I'm looking at, and I don't tend to scroll through it because of that stuff, right? So I quit scrolling for that reason. So I'll look at whatever pops up first, and it's typically a Transcat or an NAPT thing because that's I think it probably keys in on the fact that I look at those the most. And I'm really looking at the networking, and I'm looking at what people are saying, right? Whatever that third
Yeah.
icon is, and their comments, and that's really what I'm focused on.
Well, I get that, but again, I
I
have a
think I'm
lot of
avoiding
contacts.
those ads for that reason.
Yeah, but I have a lot of contacts, and
Mm,
the whole purpose of me keeping there is I want to keep up to date with my contacts. And I get a lot of updates of what my contacts are doing, and I want to stay abreast of what they're doing. And so in order to do that, I have to scroll through it.
yeah.
And in order to get through my contact
Oh, it's
feeds,
aggravating.
it is. And so my point is that it's aggravating to me. And these conversations I'm having is that what's happening is people have said to me point blank, I'm not going to use LinkedIn anymore.
Yeah,
And so if they're not going to use it, what does that say about the platform? You
right.
have these are major players,
I'm
and
sure they're using the ads to generate revenue, right? That's what you
oh
do.
yeah,
But when it gets to be too much,
yeah.
then you start losing the audience, and
Yeah.
then you lose the sponsors.
Well, Knapp has invested, a lot of its marketing, its approach to using LinkedIn and its contacts. And give me, Howard, I understand you got to make money. I get that. I'm a business person. LinkedIn's got to make money, but not only are they pushing this unwanted promos like 10 every 20 minutes in your feed. Now they're pushing these suggestions and they're putting your features, but they're now adding contacts
Oh,
to your feed
okay.
that follow a certain algorithm that you have.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and so it's become
It's cluttering it.
literally, yeah, just clutter.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, like I said, I'm
They need an
thinking
Outlook
about,
feature so you can do focused and other.
yeah. Well, what should happen is you would think LinkedIn would give you the option to
Yes.
either allow this or turn it off, or an easier way to manage this
A
crap?
simple thing that says, "Yes, I'm interested in this, show me more or show me less because I don't need this."
Yeah, right. And they're really not doing that. So,
Yeah.
anyways, my point was that build a meta mousetrap, and NAPTs always struggled where, how does NEPT get the word out? And we're using this, obviously, this podcast is a way we're hoping that we can continually show everybody all the improvements we have and
Mhm.
why NEPT is the best provider, proficiency provider for the test and metrology community. And if we rely on that particular avenue, i.e., LinkedIn, and it begins to fail, we have to find another source. So
Right.
I'm interested from the audience, if you're hearing this and you have a better way for that you think NEPT should market our products, drop me an email.
Yeah. Are there other platforms we should be on?
Yeah, let us know, because I'm really leaning towards not opening LinkedIn as well, because it's if all I'm getting is garbage. Why do I want to waste my time? So,
Yeah.
and I feel sorry for people that have invested a lot into LinkedIn and created a whole network, and all of a sudden find out it's garbage. So, anyways, moving forward, let's talk about NCSLI.
Okay. What you
So we're
got?
headed there. We're going to have our board meeting, obviously next week as well. So we'll
Yes.
have a recap on that after the fact. But what's funny is the tie between what happened. When was the last time we were in Cleveland? Was it 8 years ago, 9 years ago? I don't remember the date. Well, you and I sat at a table one night. It started about 5:30 in the afternoon,
Yes.
right after the sessions broke down. We decided, you and I were going. We had some things to talk about. It was business, and so we decided to talk about it. And we had a cocktail, and then we got through our business,
We
and we
did.
decided to
And
have a bottle of wine.
there were 1 or 2 people that had joined us, right? I
Yeah.
think, Phil Mastretta
Yep. He was
was
one of them.
there. Randy Goddard, I believe,
Yep. Randy was
was there
there.
as well.
Yeah.
Am I missing somebody? Well, then other people joined later.
Yeah, yeah. So we decided to get a bottle of wine, you and I. And
A
short
bottle.
story out of a very long one, we drank how many bottles of wine?
This is like a fishing story. It keeps getting bigger every time we talk.
Okay, how many bottles of wine do you think we drank? I know what it was because NEPT got the bill.
I'm gonna say 4.
Wrong. I wish it was four.
You had 4.
Yeah, I had four and you had four. And the funny thing is that this is kind of how the podcast got developed, is because
Yeah.
you and I were just talking and bantering about metrology issues, and we were, when the other people kind of were just sat there and they just sat there and listened to the most part about you and I just kind of, we
Oh
really
my
weren't
gosh, I just had a
arguing.
thought. This is located at the Hilton downtown Cleveland,
Yeah.
right across from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep.
You see where I'm headed with this?
You want to go do your rock and roll hall with all the
Rock and Roll
magicians?
Hall of Fame with metrology musicians. That's where we should put it together and have the jam session.
You do that. I'll let you, you can plan that. They have a room there where
They do. Yeah.
you can go and do that.
Yes.
I think
All
you
right.
have to
Calling
go.
all
Yep.
metrology musicians who are going to attend next week. Short notice. Let's get our jam on. Let's be fun.
Yeah. Well, you got to do the people. You got to get Paul, put it right, and you got to get Chris, and who else?
Roy,
Ryan. Doesn't Ryan play well as well?
I
Our
believe
guest
so. Yeah. Troy Thomas.
Troy plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil's a drummer. I don't know if he's going to be there, but yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Well, yeah. You put it together. Since, like I said, I don't know an F chord from a C chord, from a G chord, from an A chord, so I know nothing about it. So you can do all
Awesome.
that. So we'll be there for the whole week. Stop by, say hi. We got a lot of great things to show you. We're looking forward to it. You actually, aren't you presenting this year as well?
Yes. Kirk Foster and I put together a paper on risk management. Again, this is kind of tied into this risk tool that NAPT now has out on the website. And it's not just about that, but it's all the things that encompass risk. And we kind of open up with discussion about risk in any business, right? You've got to look at all the things, all the factors that come into play, your management style, your personnel, your accreditations, or if it's a metrology lab, right? Your compliance with any other regulations that you have to follow to make your products. All of those things you have to consider. Where are the risks? Are they high? Are they low? How likely are they to occur? And then we kind of filter it down to metrology and the things you should be looking for in a lab to monitor risk in your quality management system. So that's kind of a high level. Here's what to look for. Here's how to set this up. And then we plan to have a follow up paper that's going to go more into some of the components that we're talking about, specifically also proficiency testing and why that's so important.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's on your paper is on Wednesday. So when you're at the conference, speaking of the conference, I'm openly optimistic, but at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned as well,
Mhm.
simply because conferences the last 4 or 5 years, obviously with the pandemic, the conferences took a huge hit. We've never
I did.
recovered. I say not we, I should say the conferences, because I don't have much to do with the conferences, any of the conferences anymore. I pretty much, retired from my involvement with the other conferences as well.
Mhm.
But I'm hoping that there's a large audience out there. I did look at the program, and it's a little bit more technical for the technicians. I see a lot of good papers on there that are lean more towards the training side. So
Mhm.
hopefully that the managers that hold the purse strings allow the technicians to go to the conference and learn. It's a good opportunity to network, and it's a good opportunity to learn something about it. That's my hope. I really hope that when we get back to a day, I know we won't go back to 96 when we had the best conference ever in Atlanta, but that's here nor there at this point in time. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that.
oh my
I
goodness.
was not. I didn't attend conferences till 2000, Toronto.
Well, let's hope so. I think the season season 2, episode 1, we'll have a recap of the conference, and like I said,
Sure.
either
Yeah.
I'll be eating crow in front of us while we're or not. But I'm hoping it's a good conference. But
Now, you had mentioned to me where next year's conference is going to be, and I thought you were kidding around with me.
no, I wasn't.
You weren't.
I was not kidding around. It's going to be in Kansas City. Kansas City, here we come.
Right where I live. I can't believe it. There's never been here before.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that we have a good conference this year, because next year the powers be at NCSLI. I'm hoping that we can have some conversations with them, because it will be NAPT's 30th anniversary. I mean, I
30
can't believe it.
years. What sounds longer to you, 30 years or 3 decades?
3 decades
That's a
definitely
lot.
sounds large. Yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I'm as old as I am now, and still my plan was not to be around at this point in time. I did not want to be one of these people that go to conferences and just walk around, shake hands, and say, "What's up?" I wanted to be there to shake names and make deals and convince people to help NAPT, and say, "Okay, what's the next step? What do we got to do?" I mean, I wanted to be active, and now I really don't have as much a role I used to have, so I don't need to do this anymore. So next year, I absolutely guarantee will be my last conference, only because it's the 30th anniversary.
Yes.
And hopefully we can do something special. We can give away a ton of prizes to everybody that's a member of NEPT.
Mhm.
We can have a great outing. Maybe we'll do something with NCSLI. If not, we'll do something off site. But we're going to have a party. That's all.
Yeah,
I
that'll be a
guarantee we're
blast.
going to have a party somewhere next year in Kansas City.
Kansas City, home of great barbecue, could be a outing at a barbecue joint. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, either, like I said, either we'll do it with conjunction with NCSLI people, or we'll do it ourselves. One way or another, we're going to have a party. So
Okay, I'm excited.
guarantee it. You can put it on your calendar, and it's no kidding. Kansas City is where it's going to be. So I strongly think that what we could do, hopefully we can convince NCSLI to do those proficiency tests that are bring in the technicians.
Mhm.
We could bring in 30, 40 technicians,
Like a
and
regional ILC?
like a regional ILC.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. At the time, that would really be
I like
cool,
that even
wouldn't it?
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be really cool to do that. Host a regional ILC right there in Kansas City. So at the
beautiful.
same time. So,
Smack dab in the middle of the country.
okay. So, hey, Howard, unfortunately, we've been promising people all year long that we would talk about integrity. We would talk about ethics. So before the season ends, we've got to talk a little bit about integrity and ethics. I don't want to beat it to death. We talk about how important integrity and ethics is in our profession. We've talked about how there's certain organizations that really don't have integrity, and how we, being the caretakers of whatever you want to call it, we really can't say anything because we would be like redheaded stepchildren. There comes a point in time where we can't be like lawyers. We can't be like politicians. We can't be like insurance agents. At some point in time, we have to call a spade, don't we? We have to say, you're not good for the business. You're bad. You shouldn't be in this business. Why are we tolerating people that have bad ethics, that their integrity is clearly that they're providing bad measurements? I'm so torn about that, but I don't want to be overly aggressive and swear at people for it.
Well, there's two sides to that in my mind. One is absolutely people that are in this industry need to have good ethics. You need to be paying attention to what the work is that you're doing and how it impacts your customer and their products. The flip side of that is the old Phil Stein paper on buyer beware, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You might say it's really up to the buyer to make sure they have a good ethical supplier providing calibration and metrology services for them. I easily can pull that apart and say, there's a lot of people that in industrial manufacturing that don't know enough to know how to pick a good supplier, right?
right.
And there's consulting available out there to help you with that. And sometimes you start trusting a supplier and you don't even know they're pulling the wool over your eyes. I've seen so many examples of it. I know you have too. Part of that can be not knowing what you don't know, right? Because people are having a harder time hiring qualified, experienced technicians. And so they'll hire anyone and try to get them trained into it. But if they don't know what they don't know, they're training them wrong. And this is the whole premise of the paper, too, right? When you look at Kirk's paper and my paper, it starts out talking about the fact that you can't take the attitude that you know everything because you're going to get yourself into trouble. I'm talking about non-metrology stuff. The example we give in there is like if you want to be your own representation in a lawsuit, right? Do you really want to represent yourself? Are you knowledgeable enough to know the ins and outs of that process? There's a couple of other examples we give there. Same thing with metrology, right? If you don't know what it all is involved in minimizing that risk to make sure the instrument's giving you the performance that you expect it to so that you're using it correctly in your process and calling your product good or bad correctly without false accept or false reject, that's important. And if that's important to you, you need to take the time to find out if your supplier is good and ethical. To your point, right? Then there's people who are intentionally trying to cut corners to make a buck.
That's the
Those
ones
are the
that,
ones we're talking about,
yeah, those are the ones.
right? Either one can hurt you. Whether it's a supplier who doesn't intend to, but they're still doing things wrong, and you don't catch that, it can still affect your product. But the ones who are purposefully not doing things right, that's exactly what you're after.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where you have lack of integrity and poor ethics.
yeah. And those are the ones, Howard, that I'm saying, you know who they are. I know who they are. But if we say anything, we really can't, because we're,
Yeah,
like I said, and I hate to say this phrase, but it's like
it doesn't go over well.
we're redheaded stepchildren being put in a closet with no supper. It's really bad. But
Well, I
who's
think
gonna
I've
say it?
given this example before, and I'll just summarize it. We had a situation with a client where we failed some of their calibration instruments, and they thought we were doing things wrong. It's like, how could you fail 4 of these in a row?
Yeah,
As soon as we showed them how it was being done before and what we were doing with a much improved process, better standards, the light bulb went on, right? But they didn't know how to look at that. They would have never known that information if we didn't share that with them. So without that detail, all they know is they trusted the supplier that was poor ethics, poor integrity, and they were not trusting the one that was actually doing it correctly and failing them and found the root cause of the problem and helped them correct it,
yeah,
right? That's the maddening part of this business is that you can actually do things right and get the black eye.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
good. So buyer
Well,
beware is not all there is to it. You have to actually dig deeper.
and I have a kind of a problem as well, is the people that are supposed to be the oversight really, again, because I'm old and I'm retired, I don't care, I can say this. I have a problem. I don't think that the oversight is doing their job to the point that they should.
Yeah.
I think that they could be doing it not just a little better, a whole lot better. And I'm on the record
That's
with
the
that.
whole if you see something, say something, because there's not enough people to monitor it all.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you gotta have a good reporting structure to the people who will actually take action, and
Yeah.
that's what it's missing.
Yeah.
Both of those parts. Not enough people reporting when they see something that's wrong, and not knowing who to go to, and then when they go to the right organizations, they're not doing anything about it, or very seldom.
Yeah. And that's the component. People are afraid sometimes too, because
Yeah.
it's our nature. It's human nature to go with the flow. They don't want to rock the boat. All those cliches that we could come up with.
Mhm.
The only way it's going to get better is if you rock the boat. Open up your, and say, hey, this person is doing something that's unethical. It's not right,
Yeah.
and correct it, fix it. It's your profession that's at stake here. So that's,
Right.
again, I don't want to beat this to death, but it's a thing that's in my crawl, and I've been preaching it for at least 25 years. That it makes me mad. It really does, and I could spend an hour getting upset about it and going crazy, but I don't
So,
want to spend any
the
more time.
to your point, the problem is that you can't just come out and say these things. People aren't necessarily listening, right? Or they'll look at you like you're a crazy guy.
Yeah,
My experience is that whether you're training somebody on new concepts they haven't used before, or you're trying to make somebody aware of situations like this, the best and most opportune time for people is when they're listening and looking for that answer. So I spend my time doing my job and looking for opportunities. I'm always aware of opportunities when I see somebody either doing something that is a quality blind spot, they're creating a quality blind spot without knowing it, or they're just looking for more information and they're seeking an answer.
yeah,
Those opportunities I'll take advantage of every time. Take the time to spend with whoever that person is, whether it's a client or internal employees or whoever, right? External, to help them understand what they're missing and walk them through these concepts about integrity and ethics and doing things right. So those to me are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Fruitful, more beneficial. You get a better result with people recalling and retaining that information that you give them than to just broadcast it when people aren't really looking for that information. It just they gloss over.
so to wrap this up, what we need to do is, so that we don't become the unethical, such as the lawyers, the attorneys, the politicians, blah, blah, blah. We need to be more active. And when we see something wrong, report it,
Yes.
be active, solve the problem, right? If you see a problem, solve it. Don't be the problem. That's what I
Don't
say.
just bring the problem, bring the solution, right?
Well, I've said for years, if you don't solve the problem, you are the problem. That's, it's a cliche that I've used in my life a lot. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's not beat this to death. So let's talk about season two. We're gonna take the summer off. We're gonna come back,
Hmm.
and we'll pick it up again. Let us know what you want to hear from us. Hey, and, if you like the podcast, let us know that as well. We'd love to hear from you. What you liked about. Let us know what episodes you liked. Let us know what episodes you didn't like.
If you
You know,
if you like the podcast, let me know. If you didn't like it, let Chuck know.
if you don't like Howard, let me know, or let
Yeah.
him know. It's been a great season one. I think that we're coming into our own. I expect better things in season two. Any thoughts you had on season one? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Anything that you thought we should do better?
No, it was good. I really enjoyed the conversations with each of our guests. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got some powerful guests that were coming up still. This has been fun. I've enjoyed this more than I think I thought I would when you first ran this by me, because this was your brainchild, right? This was something you
No,
had
no,
put
no,
together.
wrong, wrong. We were driving, you and I, to Minneapolis, and we were having our usual banter, and you're the one that said we should do a podcast.
Okay, I'm giving you the credit.
No, no, I remember. I think we were just out. We were coming into Des Moines, and we were doing story time selling. And I can even bring up my God, I can't
Was
believe I
that the
remember this.
Costco stop or was that somewhere else?
No, this was after the Costco stop.
Okay.
I remember the conversation we just had, because it's funny, how you remember certain things in your life. I remember I
As
had for
old as
breakfast
you
this
are, you
morning.
remember that? That's incredible.
I remember the drive from up to Minneapolis, you and I,
I
and
remember the drive.
I remember the conversation, and I remember the topic we were talking about, and I remember looking over you, and you said we should do that. We should do a podcast. Is exactly what you said. We should do a podcast.
That is
And
the
I said,
one bit of information on that trip I don't recall. Just that.
anyways, all right. So here we are, and that goes back to Cleveland. I think that this podcast has been in the making since the Cleveland time, where we've had the round table grew. And by the way, by the time there must have been 9, 10 people there at the
Yeah,
table. At
I think it was more than that, but yeah, right down there in the middle of the lobby, by
Yep,
the bar.
at the bar.
Nice,
Yeah,
seating arrangement in there and, just a comfortable place to sit and chat.
yeah. I remember a lot of people that were there. I met some new people there too that night that I never met before, which
Yeah.
was odd because at this point in time, I think I know probably not anymore, but a couple years back, I think you and I together probably knew everybody in the
Why
industry.
we have such a long list for all these seasons.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
So,
good.
moving forward, season two after the summer, enjoy your summer. I know you got a really big vacation. We're going to have a talk about your vacation. I'm excited to hear from that
Yes, trip to Europe, first one.
trip to Europe, which would be
Can't
great.
wait.
Yeah, we
Yep.
me and I'm not doing anything. I can't afford to do anything. I'm just going to be in my house and counting my pennies and my nickels. That's all I can do. I I
Somehow
can't
I
afford
don't believe that, John.
I can't afford to go to Europe. So
You're going to Vietnam.
yeah, so next year we're going to go to Vietnam. So
Yeah. When's your
hopefully,
next trip to Hawaii?
I don't know when you said you want to go with us.
I do. It probably should be after your Vietnam trip, and then we'll plan that one.
Yeah, we're not sure when we're. It all depends on my health. I don't want to bore the audience, but my health is the major factor. I'm getting stronger every day, and I feel
You
better
are.
every day. And
As we're recording this, I've been looking at you thinking, man, I can't believe 6 months ago the condition you were in. And look
I
at you
know
now.
and I was just talking with someone yesterday about that who called me up and listened to the first podcast and said, I just listened to your podcast, and I'm looking at you, and they're going, "Oh my God, Chuck, did you lose weight?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, about 26 pounds."
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And yeah, and so it's when you're sitting in a hospital bed, it's really easy to put weight on. So
Oh, yeah.
but anyways,
Glad
I
to
don't
see
want
you
to
up
get
and
into it.
around.
Yeah, so my travel is all depending if I'm healthy enough, which I'm hoping
Mhm.
to be. So we'll fill you in on the season opener for season two, where our travel plans are, and we'll see if anybody wants to go with us. I'd like to go to Ireland and play golf is what I'd like to do.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
I'm hoping I can play golf again soon, because as you know, my passion is I love to play golf, and I haven't played golf for almost 2 years now,
My
and that's
dream is to repeat the Seinfeld episode where we're on the edge of a cliff, driving a ball out into the sea, and we get a hole in one. The whole whale situation.
yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
The
All
sea
right.
was
So
angry that day, my friend.
anything you want to say before we call the episode? Anything else you want to talk about before we close out for the afternoon?
I have enjoyed this season. Thank you so much, Mr. Ellis. And I'd love to hear your closing statement that you always bring to us.
Well, okay, let's get to it then. I want to thank our sponsor, NEPT, for all the support for the entire season. And as I always like to say, if you're not participating in some type of proficiency testing, you need to do so. Absolutely. If you're not proving your true technical competence. So sign up for some type of PT today. We'll see you next season.